something that all of us love and we can appreciate and we can enjoy, and that is sales. Like how I personally like to get my makeup from Ipsy, which is always on sale. And you get no, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Um, by the way, if you want to get like the ad-free content of our podcast, please go to our Patreon. Just kidding, that doesn't exist.
We don't have
But
one. Yep.
future planning, saving money, especially in this economy. Love it. Also, nerd stuff. Love it. We're all nerds. If you're watching this podcast and you're not a nerd, I would like to know why you're watching it, just for marketing purposes. Anyways, so Black Friday, Nintendo deals. Let's get into this. So Walmart has a lot of Black Friday deals for $30 and under for the Nintendo Switch and Switch 2. So if you are a Switch kind of person, I do not mean that in like any sort of actual way at all. But so I'm just gonna run through some of the $30 games here. We got Super Mario Odyssey, we got Paper Mario, we got Luigi's Mansion 3, we got Zelda Echo of Wisdom, we got Donkey Kong Country Returns HD, we got Princess Peach Showtime, we got Kirby's Return of Dreamland Deluxe, we got Nintendo Switch Sports, we got Sonic Racing, and more. And that's all for $30. So go to Walmart. And that's another thing. You don't have to actually go. Just buy the stuff online and have it shipped to your house.
Yep.
Bigger discounts. We got Sonic X Shadow Generations for $15. This is like 70% off. This is insane.
With a free Switch 2 upgrade.
With a, yeah, I didn't even see that. With a free Switch 2 upgrade. That's sick. Star Wars Outlaws Golden Edition, $30, which is half off.
Which is probably what that game's actually worth. I have that game, and $30 is probably. It's not a bad game, but it's not a $70 game, my opinion.
Dang. Yeah, that's another like advertisement that we could throw in. Star Wars Outlaws, Final Fantasy.
The 1 through 6, that's for $40. That's a lot of gameplay time. And there's some classics in that run of Final Fantasy 1 through 6. Specifically, 4 and 6 are both fucking amazing. You look confused.
Which, this is the lowest price ever. Yeah, can we like pause here for a second? Why is Final Fantasy on like with Nintendo?
Because those were all originally released on Nintendo systems. 1 through 6 were all Nintendo and Super Nintendo, right? They didn't make the switch to Sony until 7, and there's actually a whole big long story that's been covered by a lot of people. The PlayStation was originally supposed to be a Nintendo add-on. It was supposed to be Nintendo. Sony and Nintendo made a deal, and Nintendo backed out in the 11th hour, right before CES, when it was going to be announced. And Sony was pissed. And so Sony said, screw you. And using their contract stuff, they were like, y'all backed out. We're going to get our own console now. And they did, and the rest is history. The PlayStation, the reason it's called PlayStation is it was supposed to be the Nintendo PlayStation. It was supposed to be an add-on to the 64. That was the whole point. That's why it's called PlayStation.
So you mean to tell me Nintendo created their own like greatest enemy?
Yes, absolutely they did. Right?
Damn.
And the funny thing is they changed their minds on CD technology and went back to cartridge for the Nintendo 64. And that was when Squaresoft, who was Squaresoft before they were Square Enix, they'd released everything on Nintendo, but 7 was coming. And they were already working on 7, and they knew there was no way to put Final Fantasy 7 on a cartridge, right? And so Square went to PlayStation, went to Sony, and said, we're going to do Final Fantasy 7 on the PlayStation. And again, the rest is kind of history. That was where Nintendo lost Final Fantasy. So again, the 1 through 6 Pixel Collection, the 1 through 6, which is basically remastered versions of Final Fantasy 1 through 6, that's a lot of game time for $40. That's a fucking killer deal right there.
Yeah, that's I did not know that backstory. I feel like that should be a movie. I am moving on. We got Dragon Quest HD 2D remakes, discounted at Amazon. Just Dance 2026,
That's still a franchise
Or-
somehow.
$25. And we have various third-party titles. Cyber Monday preview. So supposedly starting November 30th through December 1st, Nintendo is going to offer $20 off the Switch 2 micro SD Express cards. So the 256 gigabyte, which is typically $59.99, is going to be $39.99.
That's not a bad deal.
Which that seems like a sick thing, but the best value is the 512 gigabyte card for $74.99. So be on the lookout for that. I think that's sick.
Nintendo.
And as always, no Switch consoles are going to be discounted this year.
That's not shocking.
Yeah. There are going to be bundles though. So the Switch 2 bundles remain standard pricing, but still saves you a bit when buying, for instance, the Mario Kart bundle is going to save you $30 and the Pokemon bundle is going to save you $20. So check that out on Nintendo's website. And where can you find like Nintendo kind of deals? So the Nintendo eShop, Walmart, Amazon, Target, Best Buy, and also other major retailers, but those are the main ones. So I don't know and this can lead into kind of more things like, is there anything on your shopping list, Alex, for Black Friday?
No, so I don't, and we'll talk about this in the final segment. I don't leave the house on Black Friday. I never have. I don't participate. It's against.
I mean, like,
it's against my religion.
So
no, and I'm gonna come off. Well, let's come back. Well, never mind. We can't talk about this in this segment. I do probably half my shopping still in person, right? And I'll tell you why. Okay. I'll be honest. I find some of the coolest gifts that I find for people are shit that, like, browsing on a website where it's all algorithmed and stacked in certain ways and things like that. That's not where I find the cool shit. Where I find the cool shit is when I'm wandering through a Barnes and Noble or a department store or something like that through the mall, and I just see something, right, at a store that's neat and that makes me think of the person, and that's what I buy, right? So, and it's just, I have found that I do my targeted shopping online, right? If my wife wants specific things or my kid wants really specific things, I'll buy those online. But I always like to have, but they usually know that stuff's coming. I like to have some surprises, so I always go out, and I used to do this with a group of friends. Like, we made it a thing. We would go to dinner, grab some drinks, and then go shopping. I do it less at home, right? I do it less with friends now because they don't want to go. But I go out, I have a couple of drinks, and then I shop. And then I take a break from shopping, and I have a couple more drinks. And then I go shop, right? People say malls are dead. The mall near my house, and you know the one I'm talking about, the Alderwood Mall, it's not dead. That place is a zoo. But honestly, to me, it's part of the experience. And again, it's I go and look for stuff, right? Because again, it's shit an algorithm's not going to feed me. And I don't want, I'll occasionally, like, I love New York Magazine always has a great holiday gift guide that I look at every year, right? That oftentimes will find me cool gifts for people I care about. But that's my thing. So I won't do any shopping this weekend. I am also notorious where I will end up at the mall on the 21st or the 22nd shopping. Because I will forget until the last possible minute. Somebody asked in the chat, because somebody in the chat suggested going to local comic shops and other small businesses, and somebody responded to that, bro, why? Real question. I can speak for myself. I like supporting small businesses because I think that they provide a sense of community. I think they have a deeper root in the community, and I think that they provide better services for the community, right? That's just a personal opinion. Also, again, in my brain power where I go, I want to find something that nobody else is going to find, that you're not going to see on every Amazon page. And so I find that when I go to smaller businesses, like smaller gift shops or niche shops, comic book shops, because my wife's also a big nerd, right? That's where I can find really neat shit, that is fun, that, again, I wouldn't have thought of otherwise. So that's that's the small business side. That's my shopping thing. Are you primarily I gather you're primarily an online shopper.
Yes. There's like typically very specific things that I look for. Um, so every year, right, I get something to like upgrade podcast. So like this year I have like a new light, which I played around with, like switching my other light locations around. So I upgraded my light system. I'm gonna have to play with that for a while. So those are like things that are like kind of tradition now. Like I look like, okay, like what's a good deal? What do I want to upgrade? What are the prices? Like, is this good? Is that good? And then yeah, I would say there's like just like there's like a couple of things that I'm always like on the lookout for. Like very specific like comic book artists that have like their own website. Like, okay, like what sales are they running online? Yeah, but I will say I do agree. I love going into like my local comic book store just for window shopping. Like you can easily walk through a comic book store, something's gonna grab your attention, you're gonna pick it up, you're gonna look at it and maybe buy it. I don't know. And it's hard to do that online because like when you're online, like you said, Alex, like the algo is like just gonna point you in one direction. So like Dog Dad is gonna get pointed probably at Superman comics like all the time. And you're probably gonna miss like the Magic comic series that released a few months ago. So yeah, I love it. And I'm a sucker for comic book art. I'll have to do like a tour of my office, but if you could see my office, like there's so much. Like I have comic books everywhere. I have art on the walls. I have art just sitting on the floor up against walls. So I will I will pick up a comic book because I like the cover art.
Yeah.
And I'll look and be like, okay, what is this comic about?
And again, that's what you get from going to the shop.
Yep. 100% agree.
So I will say this. So again, just an example. This is where I go when I'm like just kind of running through ideas. These guys really have like the best gift guides. This is New York Magazine, The Strategist. And they have a bunch. So gifts at myself, gifts for him, gifts for her, gifts for tweens, teens, young adults, kids, extended family, gifts for every hobby, gifts for every budget, right? And like they've got stocking stuffers under $20, right? Non-boring stocking stuffers under 25, right? Here's 13, here's 9. I'll give you an example. I buy like some of the management team that works for me, I'll buy them little gifts, right? Like thank yous. This is kind of where I find that stuff, right? Neat stuff. So I go to this website quite a bit. This is one of the ones that I look at, right? Where I go, oh, and sometimes it's just an idea for me to get something else. But yeah, it gives me some ideas. So I'll do some stuff. I actually finally told my wife what I wanted for Christmas. I thought of what I wanted for Christmas right before the show today. So I'm like, oh, I know what I need for Christmas. It's hard because I have stuff, right? Look behind me. Like, I have stuff. I got 30,000 Magic cards in my garage. I got Commander decks and tchotchkes and I have crap. I got two gaming PCs. I got two production PCs in front of me. You know, like it's hard for me to like tell like, what do you want? I don't fucking need anything. That's the problem. You know. Somebody mentioned deceptive department store sales practices. I think a lot of those have gone away. And I don't think you're going to see many this year because I think, and this kind of goes to your NBA side, I'm really curious how much spending there's going to be this holiday season. Consumer confidence is low. I'll be honest, I don't think it's going to be a good holiday season at the retail level. Do you?
No, I don't think so. Yeah, I think you're right.
I can't see it. So that's my thought. Listen, I'm sure there's gonna be all kinds of good deals out there. I was at Target with my daughter earlier today, and you can buy, and this is the weird thing. Food's going up in price, but you can buy a 4K 55-inch TV for $200, which I think is almost ridiculous. There's something wrong when, again, like all these things that should be considered like luxury items are just dirt cheap. You can buy it for nothing. You know, less than a grocery trip. Anyway, what do you guys think? We talked about some Nintendo deals and some of the other ways that we go shopping this holiday season. Let us know what you think down in the comments below. Let us know if we should do another segment on holiday shopping and all that stuff.